to my channel. I'm so glad you're here with me. If you're new, thank you for stopping by. Today I'm going to make a large sign. I'm so excited to do this. This is for a friend. She just moved into a new place, and I asked her if I could make something for her, and so she found a piece that she really liked, and so we're going to create it today. So exciting. The first thing I did, I went to Lowe's, and I've got these pieces of wood. They're pine, and they're 3 feet long. I double checked and made sure that they were all even, and some of them were like just a hair over, and I just took it through with my chop saw and I just took the piece off. And there's only 2 pieces like that, but you want to always double check, make sure that everything is straight before you start sanding, cutting, staining, painting, whatever you want to do. You want to make sure that everything is even. So today I'm using Provincial stain, and I'm going to kind of use the same concept as my clock, except for I'm not going to whitewash it. I'm just going to paint it with white and then distress it, but we'll get into that. So let's get to staining. And I'm outside today because it's beautiful out here, and actually my garage was very cold, so it kind of worked out nice. It's a beautiful, beautiful day out here. Don't forget your gloves. And I have a foam brush here. You can use a rag, and you can use like a whatever, a paintbrush, whatever it is, but I find that the foam brush works the best for me. All right, so this is I don't even know how many attempts that I've had to try to do this. I had stained all my pieces together, then I glued it together. Then when I went to go and glue my last panel on, because my clamps are not big enough for this entire width, it came apart. It fell apart. So I moved inside. I figured maybe it was too cold outside. I glued it last night, and today it's nice and firm. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is I've taken some 1/2 inch 2x3s, and I'm going to place them on the ends here. Now what I did is I cut them down so that I can have about 1 inch on each side. And I'm going to go outside, and I'm going to use my nailer and just pin it down. I'm going to put some glue. And what this is going to do is just going to create some extra stability and some strength to these pieces. I used wood glue. I'm not quite sure if I just didn't put enough. And I think because my clamps are not long enough, I didn't get a good secure, like where the 2 pieces met. But when I brought it inside, it seemed that the heat was a little friendlier than the cold. So, and I know that we're not, California's cold is not comparing to all my Canadian family and my East Coast family, and so I know some of you may not have that much sympathy for me, but here in California it was cold, and so I moved my project inside. So I'm gonna go ahead back in the garage real quick just to nail this in, and then I'm gonna come back in and I'm gonna go ahead and paint the front piece. So I'll be right back. All right, back inside. So what I did is I put these supports on the top and the bottom, and I went about 3.5 inches up from the ends, and I measured 1 inch on both sides as well, just to have it centered, just to make sure it was good. And then I went ahead and put this piece here. I cut it about 6.5 inches because I'm going to put a handle that I got from Hobby Lobby. I wanted to make sure that my handle was on a secure spot. So I did the same thing. I basically just used glue and a nailer. Now I've done this before, so I didn't really film it. I was just quickly in and out from the garage. And so I'm going to go ahead and paint this. I'm using Waverly, it's called Plaster. It's a matte finish from Walmart. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just do like a nice generous coat on here, and then we'll distress it. So let's get painting. I went outside in the garage to sand it, and I kind of really like how it turned out. Now you can decide how distressed you want it by basically, you know, staying in one spot longer. I didn't really have a specific vision in mind. I just kind of, as I was sanding it, and kind of looked to see what I liked. I kind of distressed the ends a little bit more, and so I kind of liked how that looked, and I kind of left the middle a little bit more white, and then you'll see where I have the boards connected, and I had just heavier distress on that part. I bought this gorgeous doorknob at Hobby Lobby. It was $10, but I got 50% off, so you want to wait for those sales. I'm going to mark halfway in here, and that's where I'm going to put my knob. So I'm going to put it at around 18 inches. I'm going to pre-drill a hole, and then I noticed that the screw is a little bit long, and I have this nifty little tool that was again given to me by my great friend. And it cuts down the screw, and so I'll show you how I do that. So let's go ahead and drill the hole for my knob, and then I'll know exactly how short to cut the screw. I don't want to pre-cut it and then not get it in there. So let's mark this at 18 inches. And remember, I have that extra piece of 2x3, I think I have, just for extra width for my screw. And of course, I have a bit too small. Let me go on the garage and get me a new bit. Let's try this again. I'm telling you, I've learned so much. Still too small. Let's try this one. Perfect fit. I have no idea what size this is. I guess I should learn how to measure. Okay, awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. Oh, you know what? I may not have to cut it. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, and I didn't even get to use my nifty little tool. Well, I guess we'll have to do another project to cut that. It fits perfect in here. I'll just use this to tighten it. I don't have a... So before I put my words on, I want to put my doorknob, and I bought these hinges from Lowe's, and it's they're like $3 and some change, but I'm not using it actually as a hinge. I'm going to take it apart, and got to figure out how I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint them and kind of distress them. So I'm going to paint them black, and then I have some gold and I have some orange and some white that I'm going to kind of try to make them a little bit rusty. And then I'm going to set it on here with probably some E6000. And then I'm going to put the words on here because I want to make sure that I have it lined up properly. So let's distress some hinges. All right, let's see how we can take these apart. So these screwdrivers are not working. My hammer is not working. So maybe I get to use my little nifty little tool here. So what I'm doing, this is like a wire cutter for electrical. And I am using some of these teeth, and I'm gonna basically, it gets right underneath that ridge, and I'm just moving it back and forth and getting it underneath there. It's coming out, but it's not as simple as I expected it to be. So maybe after I get it up a little bit, I can stick my screwdriver in there. So. There we go. So I fought for that one, but it came out. Now I gotta fight for this one. Woo! I did it. I did it. That was really, really, really hard. So there's a lot of little metal shavings here. So I'm going to clean that up and be very careful. I'm not going to, my inspiration piece had 2 pieces. With this, I am not going to go buy another pair. Let's distress them, let's paint them, and let's get them, let me do some cleanup, and we're going to do some painting. So for this first coat of black, I'm just using Home Decor chalk paint. I'm just going to go ahead and paint it on here. I'm not really doing the complete back of it. I'm just going to do this part where it's going to be seen, even though it's going to be up against the wall, but just for a nice finished look. These are 2-inch hinges. Now, if you really want this on both sides, which typically is like a regular door, which is, the same on both sides, you would just have to buy 2 of these. I just went ahead and bought one, and like I said, it was like $3 for one. So it's really inexpensive. I'm sure you can order them on Amazon as well. I'm gonna go ahead and let that dry and then come back and do some antiquing. All right, so all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some different colors. I have white just to kind of make it a softer color. I have some pumpkin, and these are all acrylic paints, and then I've got a metallic gold. I'm not sure how much gold I'm gonna use, but I'm gonna use the white as just to kind of lighten it up a little bit. And I really don't have a specific look. I got these makeup sponges from the dollar store. So I'm just gonna kind of mix up some colors. I wish I had brown. I just didn't have any brown in my stash. So all I'm doing is I'm tabbing in a color, and then I'm wiping the excess off, and then I'm just going to gently wipe it on my hinge. If it's too much, I'm just going to wipe it off have a little bit too much gold on this corner, so we'll just go ahead and use. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I cut out my vinyl piece. Now, all my other projects I've done where I've exposed just the words, but now I'm going to remove all the letters and leave it where I can use it as a stencil. So I'm going to just start moving. Now, sometimes what I've done in the past for different projects, I've kept the words and use it, you know, for a different piece and just kept the stencil as a stencil. But this is kind of a big piece, so I'm not going to go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove all the lettering just to leave this part right here. I'm also using Paper Studio from Hobby Lobby. It's the removable one because I do not want it to pull up my paint when I put it on my board. So you want to use something that's not going to really stick hard on your wood or your glass or whatever, where it's going to be hard for you to pull it up. So this is just removable vinyl. My Frisco Craft transfer tape. This is, I love this. It's reusable. Because I have a size bigger than what I have, I'm, you know, just sitting around, I'm gonna basically have to reuse a new one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, so what I'm gonna do, because I pretty much almost damaged that, so I'm gonna lay it like this first. Cut it to size. I'm gonna put it on my couch to get a little bit of lint on it. I'm gonna lay my vinyl on it, and I'm going to just measure. My sideline here is a straight line, so I'm gonna just make sure it's lined up properly. All right, take my transfer paper off. You're going to want to make sure that everything is smooth. Smooth it back out because you want these lines to be nice and crisp. And if there's a bubble, you just kind of want to smooth it out with your fingers. But you want to for sure make sure that the lines are even. And so and just kind of work it in there. It's time to paint. I'm going ahead and use my makeup sponge again from the dollar store, and I'm going to dab it. I have a paper plate here. I'm going to dab it in there to have barely any, and I'm just going to punch up and down. There are different ways that you can do this with to have a nice clean line. You can use Mod Podge. You can, if you're having a solid color underneath and you want like a specific color on the top but it's not distressed, you would paint the same color. But this method, I'm just gonna go dab it, and I'm looking for the distressed look anyway. If it's not 100% covered, it's okay. I might distress it with my sandpaper with a light. So we'll see what it looks like after I am done doing this, and we'll go from there. All right, let's take the vinyl off and see how it turned out. So far, so good. Let's take all the inner ones out. I am loving this. This came out so, so good. And the part where the vinyl was on, it kind of pulled it up, but it just adds to the character of the piece. I'm not even gonna touch it with anything else. I think I am just gonna, there's a tiny, tiny bleed in these tiny spots, but that, I think I'm just gonna leave it as is because it just came out beautiful. E6000 takes a little while to stick. So I'm gonna get it on here and leave it overnight. And here it is, my finished product. I am so, so pleased in how it turned out. It actually came out way better than expected. I'm just kind of in awe. So if I could encourage you to not give up when something really doesn't go right. So just keep on trying to try to figure out how to get it done. Let me know what you think of this project. I love to hear your feedback. Please like and share this video and be sure to comment below.